George Takei, Sulu. Takei. Takei.
Right. And you showed that book yesterday,
That
Chuck.
book
That
is
was that was
hysterical,
great.
wasn't it? What a title for a book. We were on a board meeting yesterday, Beth, and my son had given me a book from his life story from George Takei, and it says it rhymes with Takei. I'm gay, and all about him coming out in the '60s and all that.
Right.
And it's
That's
actually
funny.
quite funny, quite interesting writer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's there's a guy that keeps reinventing himself between William
Hmm.
Shatner and George Takei. Maybe there's a reason they're the only two left alive from the Starship Enterprise.
Yeah.
Keep reinventing. Hmm?
Hmm.
Amazing.
Maybe I'll reinvent myself.
Hi,
Oh,
Shelley.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Nice to see you.
Hey, happy summer.
Happy summer. Here we go.
Congrats on FIFA.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Really, really pleased.
Yeah, yeah. I saw all the games. The last one wasn't so great, but
No. But the energy in that stadium was pretty great.
fantastic. It was wonderful. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So no, I've been looking forward to today. So I'm looking forward to hearing
Good.
the comments. Yeah.
And the energy throughout the city. I couldn't believe Pacific Place.
Right?
I, wa- wow,
yeah.
it was packed with
Just
all three
incredible.
layers,
I know.
as well as all the other places. It was great. The
Yeah,
spirit was wonderful.
Mhm.
it really was.
My
And if
son's birth
anyone's
my
following,
son's birthday was during the World Cup, and so I said, "Where do you want to go?" And we always have a big family dinner. And I said, "Pick a restaurant." He picks a restaurant right in the middle of Seattle, right in the middle of a game, a U.S. game. So we're like, "Man, okay." So I left the night before to make sure I wasn't late. I'm always late. I just arrived in time. But yeah, it was busy. It was amazing. What it did for our city.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
that in many years.
definitely a New Orleans atmosphere. I was
Yeah,
definitely loving it. I was in my element. I was
I
making
bet.
friends with people on the street, and oh, it was just good.
I
And now
love
we
it.
got the Mariners are winning. The Mariners won a wonderful game last
yeah.
night. It was a huge game, so they're on the upswing too.
Finally, the bats are
One
hitting.
win.
Another
Hey, hey, the
I
bats
think
were hitting. We'll take that one win. The bats were hitting. We'll
we
take it.
will, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a
Uh,
streak. It's a streak of one.
right.
And of course, we need to recognize Mr. Joel Farrell, fellow Rotarian with the nicest home office of any of us
Yep.
in Seattle Rotary 4. God, look at that place.
Thank
I
you
want to
very
buy a
much.
new house. I could design an office that looks like that.
Mm.
I always thought it was a screensaver because he usually has a fire going in there. I thought, oh, that's a neat screensaver. Never found it. Finally, I asked him, where do you get that screensaver? He said, that's my office. Okay.
I got plenty of extra books over here if you need them.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah. No books I got. Yeah. It's like I mean, these people that read a book and then save it for eternity. My shelves became huge, and I was like, time to thin them out.
I will admit, you all, people are starting to come on here like right at 12:30. So if the numbers look a little low right when we start, don't panic. It'll continue as the meeting goes on.
Yeah, no worries.
I could do a short stand up if we need to stretch. Don't worry.
Beth, did you take a few days off after the World Cup, or have you just been working steadily?
Just working steadily. There's so much of the after action reports and things that were a lot of meetings to debrief on it. I am going to take some time at the end of August, so going to go out on the boat up in the San Juans for a few days.
Yay!
Right.
Yeah,
I love your Facebook posts. It makes me feel closer to you. Seeing you up on the water,
yeah,
those great days.
yeah.
Do you have something that you can do while working? When you have a regular work week that can recharge you in a small way, getting
Hmm.
out in nature or socializing with people who are unrelated to the work, or do you have any, or going to the gym?
No, I love that question, Dorothy. I mean, I do get outside. We have a dog, so and I walk her every morning before I get my day started. But it's been really challenging. My work days are literally back to back to back and no breaks. So, but I really have just kind of said, get through World Cup, and then we're looking at how can I revamp the role and bring on some other folks that can help support.
Well, best of luck with that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's time. It's not sustainable to keep this.
No. Well, we so
schedule up.
appreciate your willingness to do this today, so close to the end of the World
Yes.
Cup. When people are still jazzed and
Yeah, no, I'm
working
happy to do
on
it.
what
I
a
know
wonderful-
Absolutely.
we're
Thank
still
you,
on the
Beth.
high of it, and we
It
should
was-
be.
Yeah.
We should be.
I'm not, I don't attend sporting events typically, but I walk down from Capitol Hill every week, at least once, to go to the pier just to watch the crowds watching the game. And then I walked around downtown to a Pacific Place, and there was something at the old Benihana area where they had a screen. It was just so wonderful just seeing these pockets of delight and asking the ice cream vendors how business was and their excitement and the way it touched this city in such diverse and wonderful ways.
Could not agree more. And that I think was what was ultimately so special about it is seeing those kinds of just the moments that would come up and the energy that just really pervaded the whole city. It was really amazing.
My nephew was up from Phoenix and he went to the Iran-Egypt game.
Oh yeah.
And he also went to Casa de la Raza to see a Colombian game. So he was with a totally different population. And he was he was so excited about being here at this time. And
Yeah.
I felt so proud.
Well, I know the Iraq Egypt match, of course, it could have gone a very different way, and yet it exceeded all of our goals as well and our expectations of it. So even that one that had the most potential for something happening still was just a beautiful display of patriotism in a lot of different ways and support for each other's teams. So it was pretty amazing.
That was his take as well. And
yeah,
when expecting something different and was so
I'm sure glad iPhone managed to get to the meeting on time.
Right.
Yes, who is iPhone? I am keeping track because we are tracking people who are, because I'm doing the barcodes again now, so I am writing down everyone that's coming in here so we can track who's attending. So iPhone, if you are a member or guest, please let us know who you are.
It might be Mark Davis. I invited him to attend.
Hey. I should probably get off of mute here.
Oh,
There he is. Oh my
Thank you,
gosh.
Dorothy, for inviting me.
I'm
Wow.
Good to see you.
so
Good to
tan.
What
see
a
you.
tan looking man. Look at that. Oh my
Well,
goodness.
it rains about 3 days a year in Palm Springs,
Yeah.
Don't rub it in.
Oh,
so I've gotten used to it.
Mark, it is great to see your face again.
Good to
yeah.
see yours. My
We
God,
miss
you
you.
haven't
Yeah.
aged.
Your
Thank
energy,
you.
everything about you. Yeah.
Well, I love Rotary and I love you.
Oh,
Aw.
Did you join the club down
I
there?
did. I joined at
Good.
Rancho Mirage for a year, and there were, I don't know, 27 members, and about 12 came to the meetings, and
Oh.
I kept my perfect attendance up, but one year was enough.
Oh dear.
Well, we have, Mark, we do have members who are just exclusively Zoom
online.
members. Yeah, a lot of our older members who can't make it into the club are still attending in that way. So just keep that in mind.
I will. Thanks for planting the seed.
It's amazing. And Bill Hammond and Nancy Osborne come back every year
I
for like
know.
our end of year stuff. So, and Roger Chafin rejoined a few years ago, and he lives in Arizona most of the year. So we've
Great.
got quite a group.
Excellent.
And
to hear.
Harry Short, he come half the time he's in Phoenix and half the time up here.
Hey, Mark, I'm looking at the temperatures and it's looking like Palm Desert's at 107 at the moment.
It's about 72 in the house.
Wow.
So, but I just,
Are you there year round?
no, I'm in Denver about 4 months to 5 months, sometimes 6 months, because our daughter's there with her kids, and
Okay.
we've sort of made a move into Denver. So between
Oh,
the
cool.
two, it's pretty much Denver and Palm Springs.
The high
Yeah.
is supposed to be 113. What are you doing there now?
Well, I'm in the house. I
Yeah,
just
it's
got
not-
out of the aquatic center. I was there swimming for almost 2 hours this morning, and it was
Wow.
about 95. But I do a lot of swimming here.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
it's good.
our air conditioning bill is a whole lot cheaper up here.
Well, we don't have one because of the solar. We put the
Well,
solar in, and so
Right.
we get a credit every month actually.
that's great.
Yeah.
And
Solar
how's your water bill?
Not bad. We definitely water the lawn, so it's good.
Oh,
But
we don't up here.
water isn't too bad.
Hey, Mary, it's 12:30. Should we go ahead and start?
Yeah, I'm gonna mute everyone and then unmute you, okay?
Okay.
Great.
Unmute yourself, John. Sorry about that.
Kind of want to just sit here and let you unmute me. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the very first Seattle 4 Rotary Club Zoom meeting of the new Rotary year. Yay! And oh gosh, we got a great agenda for today. We got a lot of information, a lot of stuff that's exciting. It's really a celebration of our fellow Rotarians. So, first of all, speaking of fellow Rotarians, Paul Casey, thank you so much for agreeing to be our meeting reporter today. We appreciate all that you do. And now we have a few guests that are on, and I'm going to turn it over to Mary and let Mary introduce the guests.
Yeah, well, we have a few oldies but goodies around. We've got our old member Mark Davis joining us from Palm Springs. Welcome, Mark. And we have a good friend of the club, Shelly Gaddy, on the line as well. And we have Danielle or Dari Marie as well. Thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you all for being here. So, we have so many great Rotarians in our club, and some of them have been with us a long time. Their contributions are amazing. And one of those people is none other than Dorothy Bullitt, our past president and fellow member that I am so impressed with and so grateful for everything she does. She actually is on our program committee, and it was her that came up with the idea of saying, oh my gosh, we've got Beth Knox with her valuable experience that she's learned, and she thought she'd be a great speaker. We all agreed. And so I'm going to ask Dorothy if she would please introduce our main speaker today. Oh, Dorothy, you unfortunately have to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Thank you, John. Beth Knox, President and CEO of the Seattle Sports Commission, Board Chair of the 2026 FIFA World Cup Local Organizing Committee, Seattle, and past President of Seattle Rotary, achieved something extraordinary. The World Cup in Seattle exceeded our city's wildest hopes. We can thank Beth for making that happen. Beth has produced other large-scale special events over the past 35 years. As CEO of the Seattle Sports Commission, she leads efforts to attract and host premier sporting events in the greater Seattle region, including Major League Baseball's All-Star Game, the Clipper International Sailing Race, the NHL Winter Classic, and NCAA basketball, men and women's. Beth also leads the SSC Foundation, a charitable nonprofit supporting equitable access to youth and women's sports. Past roles include CEO of 2018 Special Olympics USA Games, CEO of Seattle's annual Seafair Festival, and leadership roles with Bumbershoot Arts and Music Festival and 4th of July fireworks show, as well as the Seahawks Super Bowl victory parades, both of them, and the Sounders FC MLS Cup Championship parades. Beth Knox, you are a star. Rotary is lucky to have you as a member, and we are delighted to get the chance to hear from you today about the spectacular World Cup in Seattle. Beth Knox.
Dorothy, thank you. I really appreciate that introduction, and it's great to be back with you all, even if it is virtual. Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit before everyone came on, that it's been challenging my schedule's been challenging for the last few years leading up to this event, but it's been incredible ride and journey, and happy to share a little bit about that process with you. And so I'm just going to walk you through some of the getting to the World Cup, what happened at the World Cup, and then what are we going to do with the results of it. So let me share my screen here. Okay. Are you seeing my sports commission slide?
Yep, it looks
Okay,
good.
great. All right. So, let's make this work. So I wanted just to, I think it's an interesting journey about how we got to this point. And yes, it was a long time coming from the last 7 years or so, but it actually started back in 1997. The name Fred Mendoza is certainly not a household name, but in my world, he's an absolute hero. Fred is an attorney and had two daughters in playing in soccer, and was volunteering for the Washington Youth Soccer Association. And he is the one who made the pitch to Paul Allen when Paul Allen was considering buying the Seahawks and was arguing that he needed a new stadium in order for that to happen. And so Fred went to Paul and said, if you're going to do this, the only way you're going to really get this approved is by including the soccer world of Washington State. That it's not going to be enough to just focus on the NFL fans. And so Paul listened to him, and they did really go after a broader audience to approve that referendum to build a new stadium. And when it was passed into law, it was actually written in that the new stadium was being built to not only host the Seahawks and potentially, and then the Sounders FC, but also a future World Cup. It was actually written into that back in 1998 when that referendum passed. So just wanted to lay that foundation. I think it's so fascinating. We live in a world that is much more instant gratification, and to have this that journey start so long ago, that vision, that dream of hosting a World Cup back in 1997, and then to see that come to fruition all the way in 2026. So fast forward, 2017 is when the US, Canada, and Mexico united bid was announced. So that was unique to have three countries band together and say, we want to host it collectively. At that time, the Seattle Bid Committee was formed because we knew we needed to put in a lot of work to pitch Seattle as a future host city. But the first thing that had to happen was that the host country had to be awarded. And in 2018, that did occur. FIFA announced North America as the host countries for the World Cup. And then the real work began in ensuring that we provided all of the materials, answered all the questions about our airport, our transportation system, our hotels that we have available, the attractions that we would have in the city, even things that you might not think about, such as a human rights plan. How would we ensure that we addressed human rights issues, or even prevent interruption to local services around the city? So this went on. This took a 4-year process of filling out these bids and making presentations to FIFA. And ultimately in 2022, we were awarded. We were one of 11 US host cities. Then there were 3 more in Mexico and 2 in Canada. So a total of 16 host cities. And to be named one of 11 in the United States was an incredible accomplishment at that time. And then we still had, that's when the real planning began. And I think it's very important that, Dorothy, I really appreciate you giving me that credit, but it truly takes a village to put on an event of this magnitude. And one of the first things that we did once we were awarded a host city is stand up a local organizing committee. So you'll hear me reference LOC, which is the acronym for it. That is, there was a CEO who had been named to run the LOC. Peter Tomazawa, I think he spoke at Rotary previously. He had been the president of the Seattle Sounders and was on our bid committee, and then transitioned to run the LOC. Collectively, we hired a staff. I became the chair of the board for the LOC, which was a different role for me. I wasn't, boots on the ground, hands-on type of execution, but more from a big picture standpoint. So ultimately, we were awarded 4 group stages matches and 2 knockout games in 2025. And then, as you all know, we hosted it this past just a few weeks ago. So this is a long list, and I'm just going to kind of quickly go through them, but it speaks such volumes around who Seattle is and how we put our values as a city first and foremost when we were executing on the planning and facilitation of the World Cup. We were the first host city to hire a chief legacy officer. Most host cities, it's just standard that they plan an operational budget, and then they wait and see if there are any surplus funds, and then they apply it to some legacy projects after the fact. And oftentimes you don't have surplus funds, or you only have a small amount. We put it into the budget from the beginning that there would be legacy projects that would be meaningful and impactful to our city. And our chief legacy officer, Leo Floor, who came from the King County Executive's office, he was just extraordinary in executing on those. We were the first and only host city in FIFA history to secure an Indigenous Peoples Nation as a host city supporter or sponsor. And the Puyallup Tribe of Indians was just an incredible partner. They came on first. They were the first one that we named, and were a steadfast partner throughout the whole execution of the World Cup. I think many of you might recall that we were also the first to offer a distributed fan experience across the state of Washington. We wanted all residents throughout the state to feel like they were part of World Cup, that it wasn't just about Seattle. So we created 9 fan zones from Bellingham to Bremerton to Spokane, Yakima, across the state, and gave them all the opportunity, all the tools that they needed to stand up a fan celebration and watch parties during the World Cup. We were the first and only to feature blind soccer as part of the World Cup. In partnership with the Sounders Foundation, the Rave Foundation, we were the only one to build soccer mini pitches for underserved communities. This is another extraordinary legacy piece that back in 2022, the Rave Foundation made the goal of, they said, we're going to build 26 mini pitches by 2026. It had a nice ring to it. It was an audacious goal at the time. And yes, let's hope that we can do this. Well, by 2024, we'd already hit the goal of 26 mini pitches. So we doubled it. We doubled it and said, we're going to build 52 by the end of 2026. Well, we hit that goal in the summer. So, we intend, of course, we want to bid on the Women's World Cup in 2031, and we're going to keep building these mini pitches in neighborhoods throughout the state of Washington to allow more kids to have that opportunity for free play. We were the first to create a youth access World Cup ticket program, offering 1,400 tickets to underserved kids, youth, and their caregiver. So it was just truly an astounding opportunity to get kids to come to a World Cup, an event that they would never even begin to dream about doing. We provided transportation where necessary, and we had one 14-year-old when asked, what he's in the middle of a stadium, what do you think of all this? And he said, you'd expect him to talk about, oh, I got to see my favorite player, or I just to be, in a soccer event. But his answer was, I have never seen so many people so happy. That's his experience. So that's his core memory that he will take with him for the rest of his life. So we're really proud of that youth ticket program. We were the first to produce a Juneteenth video. It starred Gary Payton, and just really acknowledging Juneteenth as our holiday. We had a match on that day. There were 3 other host cities that also had matches on Juneteenth, and they utilized that video as well. We were the first to feature a land acknowledgement video using Puyallup Tribe of Indians, and we played that at all 6 of our matches, and then that was picked up. They created their own, but at least 2 or 3 other host cities also created a land acknowledgement video. We were the first to make bus transportation free. And I know that many of you saw the stories around other host cities where transportation was, $100 just to ride to the stadium. That's of course, on top of the expensive ticket rates. So we were really proud that light rail here, the fare stayed flat on match days. It never was increased. We had a free waterfront shuttle. We had a free Midtown shuttle that went from the stadium to the Seattle Center on match days. And by the way, that waterfront shuttle still continues, and that will continue through Labor Day. So that's still available. Amazon offered free parking at their garage. We worked so hard to make things accessible and for people to get around. I know that we had a marked impact on changing people's behavior around public transportation as a result of this event. Another great legacy. And then we were the first to shift from a single fan celebration location. It was going to be at Seattle Center, which would have been a great event, but it is much more iconically Seattle to have a distributed fan celebration and watch party model. And other host cities did follow suit, and they created multiple watch parties throughout their downtown. And there were several who didn't go to that model, and then they wish they had later. For some cities, it worked to have a single location, and certainly it is a spectacular sight to see a couple 100,000 fans in one place. But for us to have those thousands of fans spread out throughout the city and impacting more businesses and having that energy and joy spread throughout the city, that was definitely a Seattle mindset. Come on. So these are just some images of some of the legacies. This is the whale tail on the left. This was the design was created by an artist here in Seattle, Shogo Ota, and it became an iconic image for Seattle. We created these neon statues that were around the city. And we also had miniature neons that were in the storefronts of businesses. You might be able to see mine in my background here as well. The Space Needle, of course, got into the game as well and painted their roof like a soccer ball, which was just brilliant. So we had lots of Seattle branding that carried forward on that national and international coverage of our city. Sorry, this monorail picture didn't work for me here. I need to update that one. But on the monorail pillars, we had murals on each of the pillars representing, so it's the flag of each host city, each national team that played in the World Cup. So that was just a fantastic display of representation of all of the different countries that were participating. We had art murals throughout the city that were commissioned, that was paid for by the LOC. And these, of course, will remain up for as long as those murals are able to. So just another great impact from an art standpoint. And the whale tail was painted on different buildings as well throughout the city. Our watch parties, these are, we were talking about the different layers of Pacific Place. This is one of my favorite stats. Pacific Place ended up having, over the course of the tournament, and I know you all have been in Pacific Place and you've seen what a ghost town it has been. You're lucky if you run into 10 people. They had 110,000 people, and that is a real number because they were tracking all of the people in and out throughout the tournament. So over a 3-week period, it's really transformed Pacific Place. They are excited about how do they keep this going. They have a 70-foot high video screen in the center of the mall, and that's what all these people are staring at. They're there for a watch party. So they're going to keep that video screen up and make it an ongoing sports hub. It will still have retail. They're working on filling those retail spots and making it the vibrant mall that it used to be. The bottom left is, of course, Pier 62, and to the right of it is a barge that the Seattle Sounders brought in. They are the ones that executed on this event. It was absolutely packed down there, and ultimately the connection to the Overlook walk and the Salish Steps was just tremendous to keep the waterfront so vibrant down there. This is the Overlook steps and the Salish Steps, all there to watch the watch party and just be part of the joy. I just wanted to call out, we were talking about the Iran-Egypt match a little bit ago, and this had so much potential for being a challenging match. There's so much of the politics around it, security concerns, all of the things. None of that came to fruition. There was only joy in the fan celebration areas and in the stadium. The combination of it being a pride match as well as these two unique countries, everyone felt like they could be there and feel free. And that was just a tremendous thing to be part of. Iran, as you know, lost the match. They wrote this giant Post-it note and left it in the locker room. And I'm not going to read it all, but the first line says, "We come from Iran, from a land that for thousands of years has placed honor above victory." And that is that was really representative of Iran. And this was a great representation of what we saw across the tournament, that politics was not part of the tournament, that you could be, you could have your own perspective, and you could have joy and working or competing against these other teams, and politics just wasn't part of it. And the realization that no matter who you are, you're not necessarily your government, that how the government represents us, it does not always reflect the personality of the country. So great reminder here.
Hey, Beth, we've got about 2 or 3 more minutes before we move to questions.
Great. Then I am going to quickly go through just a couple of stats, and then I'm happy to open it up. 401,000 ticketed people in the Seattle Stadium over the 6 match days. 70,000 attendees at the fan zones across the state of Washington over those 6 match days, but 1 million of them throughout the tournament. And then downtown Seattle had 3 million plus visitors. And we know that it's more than that because that number only represents domestic visitors. It doesn't track international. And we had a lot of international. So just a fantastic number of people. We all know the coverage, the national and global coverage that the city had was just tremendous, and really positioned Seattle as a truly global city. I'm not going to go through all of these in depth, but the mobility. We had 60,000 fans that marched to the matches over the course of the six that we hosted. But the two of the largest in Seattle history, of course, were the U.S. men's national team. 3.4 million combined match day boardings for King County Metro plus Sound Transit. There was a new daily record on Sound Transit of 309,000. The month was 5.4 million. Three of Seattle's busiest travel days ever for SeaTac Airport. The Lime bikes and scooters crushed their daily ridership record, 40% higher than the previous record, which was on the day of the Super Bowl parade. These are just all of we had more than 35 legacy projects. I've mentioned a number of them already. I want to call out the corporate support that we could not have done this event. We could not have done those legacy projects without the support of these corporate partners. And some of the early lessons, we definitely feel that that Seattle restored pride in our community here, and that people will choose transit when it's frequent, safe, and easy. That distributed fan celebration I mentioned was something that we will continue to utilize. The public-private partnerships, mentioned the corporate partners, but also organizations, whether it's the Waterfront Park or the Downtown Seattle Association, the Chamber, all of these organizations is what made this event so successful. And we learned that we can do big things and we can do them really, really well as long as we are united around a unified goal and that common vision. So now we are putting together after action reports, working with partners like the Chamber and Visit Seattle to capture additional learnings. And then the Sports Commission, will take those learnings and apply them to future events. The local organizing committee is compiling a local impact report, and we'll release that in October. So that is the presentation. So I'm happy, if we have time, I'm happy to take questions.
We do have time, Beth. Thank you so much. That was just awesome. You were talking and very focused, but I was watching the chat, and there's just so much love and appreciation around the World Cup and for the work that you did and the team and everybody else who worked so hard to make all of this happen. So some questions for you here. This first one from Dorothy. Did you or members of your team take any steps to protect players and visitors from ICE or Border Patrol interference? That was something many of us worried about in advance.
So we didn't have dedicated measures that we took. We had a tremendous security team, and I really call it a team. It was led by our Chief Security Officer, John Diaz, former police chief here for Seattle. But he worked really closely with all of the local law enforcement, Seattle Police Department, King County Sheriffs, Washington State Patrol, and then all the way up to the federal level. So what I can say is that there was outreach to ICE, to specific contacts, to establish a relationship. And there was no indication that there would be any interference. And what ultimately happened is that the relationship, not only with the local jurisdictions, but also at the federal level, was extraordinary. And I was told that, we've all seen on TV where there's, jostling for jurisdiction and ownership of between the feds and the local, and that just did not happen. They were cooperative and supportive of one another, problem solving on an ongoing basis. So while there wasn't intentional efforts to prevent it, it was more about fostering strong relationships, and that ultimately benefited us.
Great, thanks. This question from Shelley Gaddy. From a regional event planning perspective, what do you know now that you wish you had known before FIFA? And how can this help with future regional events?
Well, I think that one of the hardest things going into an event of this magnitude is that we didn't have experience with hosting an event of this magnitude. And so I saw frequently that organizations, whether it was hoteliers or other key stakeholders, were experiencing a lot of anxiety because of the uncertainty, the unknown. And so while we couldn't have made that any different. We had to go through this experience in order to be able to see what it's like. But I do remember being at one advisory meeting with a group of those kinds of stakeholders, and there was so much anxiety at the time. And I just reminded them that no matter what happens, Seattle will always have that title of being a World Cup host city. And it was just a reminder that, we're going to do a really big event here. There's a lot of things that we don't know, but we have to trust our planning, trust our instincts around how to execute on this. And I think that ultimately is now something that we can take forward with us in producing future big events. That reminder of, oh yeah, we can do big things and we can do them well. We have that muscle memory. So we didn't have that going into World Cup. We didn't have that muscle memory. There's no way to get it until you do a big event. I'm thrilled that we had an event of this magnitude, because now it's like, well, we can do any event at this point. We've done the biggest one possible.
Talking about learning, Beth, picking up on that theme, I know you're a student of leadership. What did you learn as a leader in this whole experience?
Yeah, it's something that I've been passionate about my whole career, and that's storytelling, getting people to understand what is coming up, getting them excited about it. That really brought more people together. Sports Commission uses an event called Region Ready to bring a lot of stakeholders together into one place and share with them, these are the things that are coming up. This is how we're working together. What are your questions? Ultimately, that outreach, that effort to bring people together is what made us so strong as a community. The relationships developed over this time was really what made it a success.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. And then a couple final things here. Let's see, this question just popped up here. How many years in advance did the committee start planning for the World Cup, and how far and wide was the committee's reach to bring more people into the fold for the planning process? You touched on this a little bit in your first slide.
Yeah, so 2017 is when it really got underway, when the bid process started. So it took us that 7 years, 6, 7 years to do the bid. The real planning was 4 years. After we were awarded as a host city in 2022. So the local organizing committee was a team started off at about 5 to 7 people, then it grew to 10 to 15. Ultimately, of course, we ended up having about 20 to 25 people, plus a few seasonals that came in. So relatively small group of people, but the network of collaborative partners, like the organizations I've mentioned, Port of Seattle was an extraordinary partner for us throughout the whole time. But Visit Seattle, Chamber, DSA, Sports Commission, Seattle Center, all of these partners banded together. And then, of course, we had the fan zones across the state of Washington. So really working closely with them and helping them achieve their celebration. And then lastly, I'll say we worked also closely with our peers across the country in other host cities to learn from them and help to improve the way we executed.
Awesome. Last question for you, Beth. What was your personal highlight from this whole experience?
Well, I was saying earlier that one of them was just seeing so many fans spread throughout the city on a match day. But a really special one for me was going to the U.S. men's national team game, the last one against Belgium. And even though we didn't, of course, care for the outcome, the experience of being in a stadium with almost 70,000 people in a moment that just gave me chills was when the national anthem played and the entire stadium was belting out the national anthem. I've never heard that. I mean, I literally had to record it on my phone because it was just it just gave me chills. It was a really special moment, and having it be the last match was just kind of a moment for me that this was pretty extraordinary.
Yeah, one to take with you forever. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Beth. We really
My pleasure.
appreciate you. Really appreciate you. If you could share slides with Mary, there were a lot of requests to see slides. So if
Happy
that's
to.
possible, that would be awesome. Thank you, Beth. President John?
Wow, I have to agree. What an incredible experience. And Beth, that was a risky thing. You exposed Seattle to a worldwide audience, and you left a great image for the world to see about our city. In fact, our city is on the lips of people all over the world, and the power of that is even has the ability to create a worldwide celebrity out of a little pushball shaped raccoon named Jimothy. See, I think it's amazing what's happened. So I know this is not going to come as a surprise to you, Beth, but I did want to let you know that is a thank you for your there we go. Thank you for your participation today. The club's foundation, the Rotary Service Foundation, has provided 600 healthy meals of produce to those in need through Harvest Against Hunger in your name. So thank you, Beth. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for a phenomenal presentation. Also want to thank Carl Benke and REB Enterprises. Carl, thank you for your generous donation to our club that helps us to, defray costs. We really appreciate it. And anyone else that's interested in sponsorships, please let Mary know. And now I'm going to go on to our short program. And the two best people to do our short program about our new survey is first our club director, Mary Goldie, who knows so much about our club, so much more than anybody else. And of course, our very own clinical psychologist, Dr. Jevin Powell. And between the two of them, they will be able to give you a great summation of what we learned in our recent survey. So I turn it over to Jevin and Mary.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John. Appreciate it. So, folks, we want to take a look at our survey results here. Mary and I are going to go back and forth on this. Mary, if you can go to the next slide, we'll take a look at the executive summary here. And I'd like to walk through this. Some of these things will be no surprise or consistent with what we've seen in the past. For example, the very first bullet point shows that from a local service perspective, food insecurity, revitalizing downtown Seattle, and education continue to be top priorities. Similarly, from an international perspective, polio and global health care continue to be top priorities. So there's some themes there that continue for us. In terms of speakers, most of us said that we like hearing from business leaders and government officials. In terms of for non-luncheon events, most respondents said that weekday evenings as opposed to weekend evenings are the most popular option. And members said that they're most interested in monthly service events at food banks as opposed to other kinds of service opportunities. And we'll take a deeper dive into some of that. As this probably won't be any surprise, people stay in Rotary because of the relationships, the friendships we form here. Many people said that a clear purpose for our club will help attract new members, and that great programming and consistent service opportunities will help retain members. People also seem to like the current meeting cadence. That's always an important question for incoming administrations like President John's here. And people like the lunch meeting inspirations. So with that, let's take a deeper dive into each question.
Great.
So
So our first question was, how long have you been a club member? So I won't spend long on this one, but I do want to point out that we do have lower numbers of respondents from the 4 to 20-year category. And if you ever look at our newsletter and see like the anniversaries on the far left-hand side, you will see that's also, we don't have a lot, like our member numbers in that 4 to 20-year range are very small. So, we could glean from that, maybe we're retaining members the first 3 years and then we see a drop off. And then we have members that have been members 20 years or more. We had 72 total respondents to this survey, but you'll see on each slide, some respondents didn't answer all questions. So I just wanted to point that out and know that maybe we have a retention issue with the 4 to 20-year range.
63.
Question 2, the question was, what should SRSF's local priorities be for this coming year? And this was a rank ordered question. I know the slide may be a little bit small, or the print may be small on the slide, but revitalization of downtown rose to the top, along with food insecurity and education. Somebody's asked the other day at the board meeting how the numbers work on this slide, and the way that this one works is this is a weighted SurveyMonkey generates a weighted graphic here, and so what this really looks like is 51% of the respondents put downtown revitalization as number one, 14% as number two, and so that's why those numbers show up like that. But the graphic still really points to those top three priorities. Mary?
And for our international priorities, again, remarking on the earlier recap slide, global health and disease and polio eradication, again, leading out, and then maternal and child health also high ranking as well. I think it is interesting to note that we have polio eradication, and then did we have a separate one for malaria?
We did not.
We
Not
did
to my
not.
knowledge,
Okay,
no.
so that's kind of a curiosity of the survey. So if anyone is a malaria supporter on here, I don't think we asked it in the survey, so sorry about that. But just know that polio, just as RI considers it a priority, our club considers it an international priority as well.
Question 4, there were 39 responses, and this one asked about any nonprofits where other people currently volunteer. And so SurveyMonkey grouped the nonprofits rather than naming them all individually. There was a wide variety, and you can see many people, or at least 10 people are in educational programs, 6 in health and disease services, and you can see the rest of the findings there.
Thank you, Jevin. And then for when it comes to lunch speakers, 70 responses for this question, overwhelmingly are CEO and business leaders. And to get a little more detail here, this is the Eric Nordstroms, the Brad Smiths of Microsoft. Next up, we would have our, government officials, our politicians, our governors when they come, and then going down from there. So still, business leaders and government officials are leading speakers for lunch meetings.
Yeah, question 5, or this slide just shows the full language for question 5 in case anything was cut off. Go ahead, Mary, to the next one. Question 6 talks about the types of events you're most likely to attend outside of lunch meetings, and people clearly indicated social activities on weekday evenings.
Correct. And a little more detail when it comes to the different service activities. We asked 2 different questions if you prefer service activities on weekday evenings or on weekends. And to go back to this, our members prefer service activities on weekends. So weekends was a little edged out, service activities on weekday evenings. So that's good for our Harvest Against Hunger Elk Run work party coming up, hopefully.
Nice plug. I think this one's you, Mary.
Okay, yes, and hands-on service activities that people would like to complete. Food bank was the overwhelming answer to survey respondents, but interestingly enough, we were talking about this on the board call yesterday, and a lot of the food bank activity has moved to the eastern end of the state. So I think a lot of members are maybe remembering past experiences at other food banks that used to be located more specifically to the Seattle area. Our club used to do a lot of service activities at food banks, but there are fewer food banks for us to volunteer at now. So we're exploring, options with our, grantee awardees such as Fair Start. So just know that we have noted this on our end and are trying to work on getting some food related service activities for our members.
Yes, indeed. Question 8 has to do with how often to offer club service events, and a clear preference there is monthly. Mary?
And then we have some specific questions that were asked from our education interest subgroup. And, one of them is what is the largest challenge facing education today? And it's challenges facing public education and Seattle Public Schools performance, leading in that regard. And then this is more of a breakdown.
Yeah, right. Okay, so question, just a heads up on this one. So there was an error in the Survey Monkey and in the survey. So we managed to duplicate question 11. So it shows up here as question 11 and as question 15. We decided, because people responded to both, to go ahead and put the data in here. So you'll see that the numbers will not change. They do change a little bit, but the trends remain. And so what keeps you in Rotary, fellowship and relationship building continue to be far and away the top reason that people stick around.
Thank you. And question 12 was what we can better do to attract members. This came through in the narrative responses that we got in the survey and through this specific question, is that we need to be communicating a clear organizational purpose. And this far and away, outsize the other responses to this question. So more targeted recruitment and a more clear organizational purpose. And we are discussing this at the board level currently.
Question 13, you see we got 60 responses. What can the club do to better retain members? And most people mentioned speaker programs, as well as fostering connections, new member integration, and then boost member engagement activities.
Thank you, Jevin. And reasons for members joining the club, obviously it's the business and professional networking, but it's also our community service activities. So this is very important for us to look at. And, if people are joining our club for community service activities, are we offering enough community service activities? If people are joining the club for business and professional networking, are we offering enough opportunities in that realm? So things just to continue to think about as we go through the results.
Question 15, of course, I mentioned earlier that this is a repeat, and you see that fellowship remains up at the top here.
Great. And we wanted to ask too, if people were okay with the new cadence, well, it's not a new cadence. We started during COVID, but are you okay with the 2 in-person lunch meetings a month, 1 Zoom only meeting, and an evening event? And overwhelmingly, our members are happy with that and want no change to the current cadence.
Question 17, we've got 53 people responding. What activities or actions of the club do you value? And you can see that they really value the meetings and speaker and panel events, as well as community service activities and fellowship events. So lots of supporting information here that confirms themes that we have already seen.
Correct. And what activities or actions are missing from the club? It's one that I hear from exiting members is volunteer service opportunities, especially for our young professionals. Many of them are looking for an association club to join that has service opportunities. And we're kind of unique in the downtown space where, Rotary is considered a service organization. So we maybe need to be leaning more into that and offering those opportunities to retain our younger members.
Okay, just a couple more questions here. What are your thoughts about the lunch meeting inspiration? Most people like it.
We've had some good ones lately, so
Yes, we have.
agree with that. And the club's purpose, of course, community support and engagement, and community fellowship and relationships. So just going back to John Steckler's theme this year, commitment to community is very important to our club and its members.
And finally, question 21, got 30 responses there. People talking about any additional comments, and there were a lot of suggestions about focusing on member engagement and support, improve strategic vision and planning, and Mary and I, we touched on that a little bit here today, as well as community partnership initiatives and boosting committee structure and resources. That's about it. So what will be available to folks, this slide deck will be available. Mary, it'll be available where, on Club Runner or the website? Or
I will put it in Club Runner documents. So if you haven't logged into Club Runner in a while, go play around in there. There's a lot of interesting club documents to look at. I'll also run it in the newsletter this week as well.
Very good. Thank you. President John?
Thank you both very much for the survey results. I'm sure all of you are interested. That's a lot of information to get all at once. And so I've I've heard it about 3 times now, and there's certain things that really strike me, that relationships are so very important in our club. So very important. And so whatever we can do to maintain those relationships, engage people more in the club, and get us out into our community. So again, my theme, we are committed to community. I'm going to actually now turn it over to Jevin to actually go through our announcements.
Okay, very good. So here are our announcements for today. First, there is still one more day for people to volunteer with the School Connect opportunity to read and work with students. This is at a school in Beacon Hill. If you have time tomorrow, please reach out to Lori Walker today. So obviously this one's time sensitive. Our next lunch meeting will be August 5th. That's next week at the WAC. Fifth Avenue Theater director Bill Berry will tell us the latest at the Seattle mainstay in the arts world. We will also have musical performances by members of our club music committee, as well as from Fifth Avenue Theater stage actors. So that should really be very cool. Sunday, August 9th, Mary touched on this. There's a work party at Elk Run Farm. I believe that's in Maple Valley. So that's Sunday, August 9th. That goes from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So you can check out the newsletter and the website for details. August 19th, please make note, our lunch meeting will be at the Motif Hotel, not the WAC. That'll be with Seattle Schools Superintendent Ben Schuldiner. We will also have a new member introduction. Vicki Oxley will introduce Susanna Sakay. She is president and CEO of the Washington Athletic Club. Then finally, in the month of August, on August 26th, we will have a Zoom-only lunch meeting with special guest speaker Amanda Agati. Amanda is Chief Investment Officer of PNC Asset Management Group. Amanda leads the firm's overall strategy, or investment strategy, portfolio, and risk management approach. I look forward to hearing about how I can make my money work harder for me. And that's about it for me on announcements. President John?
Very good, Jeff, and thank you very much. Actually, we're a couple minutes ahead of schedule, so normally we couldn't take questions, but Ben Linford, I see your hand is up. Did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, on the back of the survey, as we were listening to it, as all a survey of our members, it occurs to me we've had, hundreds, maybe even thousands of members come through the ranks of Seattle 4. Is there any way to outreach to those that aren't in the club anymore and do an analog survey?
We can.
Yes, the answer is yes.
We can.
Yes.
We actually have probably about 10 years of ex-member data within Club Runners. So we have full former member lists. It would be something we would probably want the board to develop survey-wise.
Yeah, so if we could do it in a tactful way that wouldn't bother people, but I think it could be really, really valuable insight.
I agree. It's often interesting what we hear when people exit the club is the reasoning. So, sometimes we think of, what we're doing at the club doesn't make a lot of sense at the club level, but it's often the things we're hearing from leaving members that are kind of adjusting strategy and for us. So I agree with you. I think that would be an excellent procedure to do, and we should be looking at doing an extensive advanced exit interview for our former members. I love that, Ben. Thanks.
Yeah, that is. And the one area of insight that we get from the exit interviews we've done, there are the common reasons for leaving, job change, moving, whatever. But the one that gets us the most is didn't feel connected to the club, didn't feel right. That is something we can do something about. We can reach out to those members before they get to the point of saying they want to maybe move on or try something else. It's hard to get connected to this club when you first get started. It was a struggle for me. I just felt so small and insignificant in this large group. That's why it's really important to, if you can, make sure you get your badges stickered on the back with the new codes that we're putting on them, so that we can start scanning people in, mention it to other members who might not have gotten their sticker. But it's really important for us to be able to track who's coming to the meetings and who's not. If they're not, after a certain period of time, let's reach out to them. Let's just find out what's going on with them. I think that connection is a big part of what a community would do. They would reach out and say, hey, haven't seen you in a few weeks. So thank you for that suggestion. Also going after the ones that have left that didn't feel that connection. Maybe we can reach out to them again. this was a great meeting because it really focused on our club and our membership, the people who are in our club. I mean, I'm going to obviously thank you, Beth Knox, for all you've done, and thank you for that presentation. It was awesome. Also, you just go through the list. Dorothy Bullitt, thank you. Dr. Powell, thank you. Paul Casey, our reporter, thank you. And of course, Mary, thank you very much for all you do. As I finish up this meeting, I feel this intense pride to be a member of this club. We are committed to community. We are committed to helping our city, and we'll do more of that. So thank you. I'll look at you. There's a whole bunch of little hearts appearing all over the place. Oh my gosh. I haven't gotten that many hearts since I was 18. I looked a lot better. Anyway, thank you all. I'm actually going to send us off a couple of minutes early. So thank you for attending today. I look forward to seeing you all in person with the Fifth Avenue Theater. It's a gem in the middle of our city. It needs our support, and I think we've got some surprises coming up at that meeting that you will find very exciting as members of this club. But I won't say any more because that we will do at the meeting itself. So thank you all, and have a great day.